You may say that your home is very contemporary or it's very modern, but is it really? Let's dive into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Design Cafe. In this episode, we are going to be discussing modern design versus contemporary design. So if this is a design style that has been confusing you, it's been very hard for you to be able to determine whether something is contemporary or is modern, we're going to get into it in this video. And by the end of this video, it is my hope that you would have gained some kind of knowledge and design tip that you can implement in your space. Many use the word modern when it comes to design in the wrong context. Typically, people think modern is futuristic, it's current, right? Modern, yes, it can be current, but modern didn't come from now, this day and age. Modern came from the 20th century where Bauhaus and mid-century modern designs were created. That's where modern came from. So do you see how far back modern goes? Modern is often thought of the current or futuristic, that which we have not and yet to see in the future. Because of its characteristics, modern would always look current and forward. The style of modern design does not seem to go out of style. With its clean lines, minimalist attributes, neutral color palette, this design style seems to follow time. Whereas contemporary design is forever evolving with the current time. Basically, contemporary design, it's what's trending now. Now, that can be kind of controversy because what's trending now always has a name to it, but that does not mean that the name of that style is not still falling on the contemporary. It's just like the minimalist style. So contemporary and modern design can fall in the minimalist. Minimalist follows the same attributes as modern design and contemporary design. So these design styles can interchange with each other. Although the attributes are similar to the modern design style, contemporary design style is more playful in form and allows more adventure in creating that space. Contemporary design has clean lines, can come across very cold with the choices of the neutral color palettes and its materials. In contemporary design, you will find more shiny surfaces such as glass, metals, high gloss paints, etc. Okay, let's look at some spaces and let's determine whether these spaces is contemporary or they're modern. I'm going to tell you why the space is contemporary and I'm going to tell you why the space is modern. And it would help you to start to identify the difference between a contemporary space and a modern space. So while we're doing this, I want you to also say to yourself, is that a contemporary space or is that a modern space? And let's see if you got it right. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, let's look at these two spaces. Both spaces has the fireplace. It has, furniture styling. But what makes each space different is the feel of the space. Modern design, your space is very functional and it's very warm and you're going to see a lot of those wood tones coming in there in a modern space. So if you look at your space on the left, you will see we have the warm wood floors. We have that warm coffee table. And we also have that modern design chair, lounge chair that you see near the fireplace. What makes that chair modern is the fact that it has different materials playing together that are very clean line. So you have that wood material in there along with the fabric and then the black. So that's what makes it very modern. And this piece is going to be very timeless. That's another thing with modern design. Your pieces are going to be very timeless, meaning you're going to see them 20 years from now, 5 years from now, and they will still look very now. They will still look like they're in the now. Okay, whereas in the contemporary side, you see our coffee table has a shiny surface. It has the metal legs, that shiny surface. That's what makes it a contemporary coffee table, those attributes, right? And then you have the lounge chairs. Now the lounge chairs, you will see where the fabric is continued from the seat to the backrest to the base of this piece. That's what makes this piece contemporary, because you have one material that is covering the entire piece. And also the piece has a lot, even though it's clean line, it has a lot of curvature in it. That is the difference between a modern piece of furniture and a contemporary piece of furniture. A modern piece of furniture is going to have straight, clean lines. In a contemporary piece of furniture, you're going to have the clean lines, but you're going to have more curvature. You're going to have more unique shapes in it versus it just being one straight thing. It's going to have more interest to it. So therefore, contemporary pieces would normally spark a conversation. It would normally spark an interest. This piece is interested. Let's dig into it and see why this piece was made the way it was made, what makes it so interesting. That's what a contemporary piece of furniture does to you. Whereas a modern furniture, it would need its accessories to make it interesting. Okay, if that makes sense. Here, the rugs. On the left-hand side, the rug is modern rug, whereas on the other side, the rug is more contemporary. And also what makes this space contemporary is those gray tones. Do you see those gray tones where the space is looking kind of cold? That's what contemporary spaces do. They have this cold feeling to them because of the gray hues that is also used in the space for their color palette. Now in a contemporary space, the color palette can go kind of wide. You would have like those pops of colors. Whereas in a modern space, you're going to have those earth tone colors only going on. You don't see the pop of colors in there. Everything is very subtle. Everything is very clean. And one of the things to really identify if a space is modern versus contemporary, you're going to see a lot of symmetrical things going on in a modern space, but in a contemporary space, you're going to see a lot of asymmetrical. So those are some of the attributes that you can definitely look into when you're trying to determine if a space is contemporary or is modern, or if a piece is contemporary or it's modern. Now let's look at these other two spaces. If you look at the space on our left, that is a modern space. What makes it modern is the low profile furniture, even though in a contemporary space, you're going to have those low profile furniture as well. You also have them in a modern space, but then that's what makes you say, hey, well, what made that modern and what made it contemporary then? You have to look at all the other attributes that are going on in the space and see if you have more of the other. If you look at the coffee table, it's very clean line, nothing extra going on with it, but then the bottom of the base of it is a different color, which takes it over more to the modern side. Also, this piece is very timeless. Okay, it can be confused as to being contemporary, but this piece is modern because of the wood tones, because of the different color on the base, and because it's very clean line and very timeless. Now, if we look at this particular picture, you will see how this is contemporary. You have the pop of colors going in there. You have a coffee table that has the round edges, and you don't see any legs or anything on that coffee table. It's like it's floating in the air. That's what makes it very contemporary. That's what makes this space looks very contemporary. And then you look at the artwork on the wall. It's a very contemporary artwork. Normally with contemporary artworks, it's a canvas. You don't normally have a frame around a contemporary artwork, and the artwork itself will continue around the frame. So you wouldn't see the end of the artwork because it's continuing around the frame. So always remember that. And then also, what is the piece saying to you? So in a modern piece of artwork, you would have a lot of abstract. Now let's look at this next one. You cannot tell me that you can't look at this one and see that this is definitely 100% a contemporary space. What makes this a contemporary space? Let's see. Almost everything in it is contemporary. Almost everything. Let's look at the coffee table. We have a shiny metal surface glass coffee table. The coffee table is round, has a lot of curves going on. It contours into the bottom. That is very contemporary. Okay, let's look at the furniture, the lounge chair. Let's look at the material that's being used on that lounge chair. That's what makes it contemporary, along with the shape of the lounge chair. Let's look at the pop of color in the background on that wall. Again, very contemporary, because remember, I keep telling you, contemporary is very trendy. What happens when pop of colors go out of style or they change? Then your space starts to look very dated, and now you want to change that pop of color. But if this was a modern space, because you use all those earth tone colors, your space will continue to travel with time of design versus you feeling like you need to change it out. Okay, so that is how you will be able to determine that this space right here is a contemporary space versus a modern space, because of the different attributes that you're seeing in the space. And are they looking trendy, or are they looking very timeless? That's how I like to differentiate the difference between modern and contemporary. Although this space has a modern style rug and a warm color palette, it is overall a contemporary space. Now let's look at furniture and determine if this furniture piece is a modern piece of furniture or is it a contemporary piece of furniture. Here we have this lounge chair. Even though this lounge chair has a wooden base, it's very trendy, it's unique, it's bulky in form, the wooden legs are glossy. What category would you place this lounge chair in? If you said contemporary, you are correct. Let's look at this coffee table. Because of the material of the coffee table being continued throughout the piece, interesting form and finish in this piece, what would you consider this coffee table to be? Is it modern or is it contemporary? If you said this piece is contemporary, then you are correct. This is a contemporary piece. I gave you the attributes. The piece has the same material being continued throughout. It is unique in shape, is a conversational piece. That's what you need to look at. Is this a conversational piece? It has the curvature going on in there, all of the different forms. That's what makes it a contemporary piece. Now let's look at this coffee table. This coffee table has clean lines. It has wood tones. There's a difference. It looks like it's floating. This coffee table can kind of go both ways. It can go contemporary or it can go modern. But in my opinion, it is more modern because it's very timeless. That's why I would say that this is modern, even though the coffee table has the appearance that it is floating. So the appearance of it floating would make it seem like as though it is contemporary. But why I would say it is not contemporary is because of the change in material for the legs. That is what will make this piece a modern piece. Let's look at this lounge chair. This lounge chair has the neutral color palette. It has the wood tones going on. It's low profile. What is this lounge chair? Is it modern or is it contemporary? If you say this piece is a modern piece, you were correct. Let's move on to this sofa. This sofa is very clean line. It has the neutral colors. It's bringing in those warm neutral colors. It has the fabric back and the fabric seat, but it has a wooden base. Very clean line. Also, it has a very low profile. What is this? Is it modern or is it contemporary? If you said this piece was a modern piece, you are correct. Again, good. I think you guys are starting to get it. Okay, let's move on to lighting. How do you determine if a light fixture is a modern piece or a contemporary piece? Again, we're sticking with the same attributes. So the first light fixture we're going to look at is this sconce. This sconce is very clean line. It is extremely minimalistic. Extremely minimalistic. Clean lines. It doesn't have a lot of fuss going on with it. It's not a conversational piece. What would you categorize this light fixture as? If you said modern, then you are correct. This light fixture will stand the test of time because of its sleekness. It is definitely a modern piece. Next, let's look at this pendant. Is this pendant contemporary or is it modern? Again, here we have the clean lines going on with the cluster. There's not much fuss going on with this piece, so that's why you will consider this one to be a modern piece. Okay, let's look at these. This is like we will call this a statue of a lamp, a floor lamp. What would you call this one? It has a lot of interest going on in it. So would you consider this to be a contemporary piece of lighting or a modern? If you said contemporary, you are 100% correct. What makes this light very contemporary is the fact that it has all this interest going on. It's like, is that a lady? She's holding 3 bulbs. Oh, this is very interesting. It sparks a conversation. That's why this is very contemporary, because of those attributes that it has. It's not boring. Now let's look at this chandelier hanging right here. Or I should say these pendants that are hanging right here. Is this contemporary or is it modern? If you said that these are contemporary, then you are correct. The reason why it's contemporary, again, it brings interest to the space. It's almost like a piece of art in the space in itself. It's a conversational piece. And it's all the curvature going on. And you see that asymmetrical happening with the piece. Yes, this is a very contemporary piece of lighting. Let's look at this last one. Is this one a contemporary piece or is it a modern piece? If you chose contemporary, you are so correct. This is definitely a contemporary piece because it has a lot going on with it. Again, it's a conversational piece. It's the different use of different materials in it. It is definitely a contemporary piece of lighting. It's definitely a piece of lighting that may not look okay in your room 5 years from now when design trends have changed. Okay, let's move on to selecting the rugs. Is your rug a contemporary rug or is it a modern rug? In a contemporary rug, you're going to have more movement in it. You're going to have the ability to have more colorways going on in it. The color blotching, colors lapping over each other. You're going to have all of that going on in a contemporary carpet. Whereas in a modern carpet, you're going to have, again, the clean lines. Modern really sticks to the clean lines. Once you're talking about clean lines, minimal, not a lot going on with it, you're definitely looking at a modern piece of item. So let's look at this first piece of rug and tell me if you think that this rug is a contemporary rug or is it a modern rug. If you said that this rug was contemporary, you are correct. The rug has a lot of movement in it. It has all the curvatures and stuff going on. You wouldn't typically find that in a modern rug, okay? Let's look at this rug. Do you think this rug is modern or is it contemporary? If you said that this rug is modern, you are 100% correct. You have those straight, clean lines happening with the rug. The rug is just to do what it's supposed to do, which is be an accent. That's what makes it very, very modern. Again, what makes it very modern is the fact that it's very symmetrical. If you look at the design is very symmetrical. And it has that neutral color palette. Here we go. Now look at this rug. What is this rug to you? Is it modern or is it contemporary? Based on what we looked at before, I know that you definitely say that this rug is contemporary because of all of the movement that's happening in terms of the threading in this carpet, all the curving going on. It is a contemporary rug. Now, if we look at this rug, is this rug contemporary or is it modern? This rug is modern. Why? Because the design of it can stand the test of time. It has the neutral palettes going on in it, and the movement is not as heavy as you would think. Now, there are contemporary rugs that look like this, but you would have seen another color outside, like primary colors being introduced into the colorway of the rug. So because this rug is very neutral in palette, it is a modern rug. Because it's very abstract, it is a modern rug. Next, let's look at these two pieces right here. These, I will call them accessories. Now, this particular one, is this a modern piece or is it a contemporary piece? Someone would tend to say that this is modern, but it's not modern. This is contemporary. Again, it's very interesting. It brings a lot of interest into the piece. However, because it has a symmetricalness going on with it, you may tend to want to say that it is modern, but it's a contemporary piece because of the curvature, because it has all this interest going on with it. That's what makes it a contemporary piece. However, if we look at this piece, we can definitely, I think out of everything that we have went over thus far, you will definitely be able to identify this piece and say that it is very contemporary because of all of the curvature going on with it. Now let's take a quick look of what a contemporary piece would look like as it relates to like kitchen and furniture pieces. You will have those flat panels. Most times you will have the metal handles for them. As you can see, this piece has a lot of interest going on with it. This one is fully lacquer, the same color material from the top down into the legs. This kitchen has the metal handles, which makes it very contemporary. On the modern side, let's look at these modern kitchens. This modern kitchen you will see has the flat panels again, but no handles. Here goes it again, the flat panels, clean line, very sleek, very now. And look at this one where it has the interest with the warmness going on with the wood. That is what a modern kitchen would look like. Okay guys, I think that we have covered a lot. I hope that the way that I chose to do this video is going to help your mind to start to wrap around how you look at things and whether something is contemporary or it is modern. However, because these two styles have so much similarities and they're so interchangeable, it's okay to use them together in a space. These two design styles will definitely work with each other. Some design styles does not, but these two will. And because these two design styles also work around a minimalistic design style, you can definitely use them together. Okay, family, I hope that you were able to learn something today about the difference between modern design and contemporary design. I chose to do the video this way so that it can start to spark your mind when you look at pieces and trying to determine if a piece is modern or it is contemporary. I know some people like to run to Google, but the description on Google can be very confusing for most people, especially if you do not have a design eye. So that is why I chose to do the video this way. Now that you have learned what the difference between modern and contemporary is, I want you to start to look at your space and determine if your space is modern or is it contemporary or is it a mixture of both. Remember, modern designs and contemporary design has clean lines. However, in a contemporary design, your clean lines are more playful. They have more curvature going on in them. They both are minimalistic. They both have neutral palettes. But in a contemporary space, you will find more pops of color, whereas the primary colors are being introduced. It's more fun, but still it can come off a bit cold, whereas modern design is very warm in nature because of it having all those warm tones in wood. Contemporary design, your fabrics, your materials are very shiny. You have the shiny materials going on, glass, the metals, etc. The acrylic paints on furniture, the high gloss finishes, those are contemporary in nature and not modern. So family, I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have learned something. If you did, please leave it down in the description if you were confused between modern and contemporary, and if that confusion is still there, I hope not, or it has gone. And if so, I'm glad that I've been able to assist. Bye for now, and see you guys on the next episode of Design Cafe. Always remember, never let your budget dictate your style, but create a space that you love. Design for life.